to order. Everyone could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to welcome everyone and thank everyone for coming. And the first thing we need to do is to approve the meeting agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda. I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. All right, 5.0 is community comments. Community comments is an opportunity for the public to address the board on a school-related item in accordance with the guidelines that are printed at the end of the agenda, and the agendas can be found on the table over there. So we've got one community comment from Greg Galen, School Board Films.
Thank you. Greg Galen, Grand Marais. I started coming to meetings about a year and a half ago when problems in the school were publicized. And between then and now, I've had a good chance to listen in on the school board. And in a lot of ways, I'm impressed. I've come to believe that every person that I've seen serving on the school board is capable of making just, thoughtful, and wise decisions in the exercise of their duties. And that means everyone here today, including the administration. And for most of the time I've been coming here, I've been trying to film meetings. And although my technical skills are very much lacking, my ethical approach has always been consistent. Here's what I do. I record the public school board meetings, I record my traverse on and off school grounds, and I record conversations between myself and public officials. And I start and maintain live cameras in the normal course of setting up and being prepared to capture video of those meetings. So far, I've only been interested in filming the body of the school board meeting in an unbiased, nonpartisan, fly-on-the-wall style. The first and most important thing for you to know is if there's ever a concern about video of an underage child being posted online by me, you can always talk to me about that. And I would almost always defer to a parent's wishes and the concerns of school personnel, because the safety and well-being of the student is always of first importance. Another thing that's important to know in light of recent suspicions that have surfaced is that as of yet, I've never designed to secretly record people here at the meetings. Every time I film here, it takes time to set up and pack gear, and I'm trying to get away as quickly as possible after meetings. But you need to assume that while I'm doing that, my cameras will be on, and that's just how my setup works. I can explain that later if you like. I have no problem answering questions, talking to you after the meeting. Another reason for my having my cameras on is because I do need to document any conversation between you and me. And if you don't want to go on video, I would completely respect that. I always try and leave ASAP after each meeting, so you'll probably never have a problem avoiding me before or after meetings. I have a body of work on my YouTube site. You can see for yourself if you take the time to listen to what I have to say, watch the videos, maybe question me. I hope that you'll see that I'm not necessarily pursuing anyone. Up until today, my efforts have only been about filming the school board meeting and learning by way of attending meetings. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I can answer questions now or later. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Nice, Greg. All right, 6.0 is student highlights. 6.1 is the John Phillips Sousa Award recipient.
So I'm going to read a little blip about Jack. This is Jack Peck. Jack is not only a dedicated student, but he was also recognized at our annual spring band contest this year as this year's recipient of the John Philip Sousa Award, which goes to the outstanding senior band member. In addition, Jack did a great job speaking at the National Honor Society banquet earlier this month. Jack has stuck with the band while many others quit or walked away. with appreciation, his dedication, we appreciate his dedication and leadership. In addition, Jack has impeccable character and is a great role model for everyone in the school. We want to thank Jack for his willingness to serve others, act with dignity, and for his overall commitment to the school. And he didn't prepare anything, but if you have any questions, he's gonna talk right from his heart, so.
What instrument do you play?
I play the tuba.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the entire school, so it's
Yeah.
no one else in that spot, so.
What are your plans for next year?
My plans, I'm going to go to UMD for a bachelor's in graphic design with a studio art emphasis. And so it's kind of like a general for an art degree, so yeah, that's my plans.
Do you continue playing?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna play in the low brass ensemble at UMD, so.
Cool. Very good.
Awesome. Best wishes, Jack. You're awesome. So obviously you're gonna do amazing at whatever you choose to do.
Thank you very much.
It's good you're not going so far away.
Mom's gonna have mom's
Totally.
Well, congratulations. Why not? I'd like to officially say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Good job, Jack.
Congratulations, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Sure, I'm not on Monday.
Congrats.
And I did say that he can be excused.
You can
Oh,
leave
okay.
whenever you would like. If you want to stay, but you
Stay.
can.
Yeah.
Alright, well, thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for coming.
Congratulations.
Very nice to see our successful students. That's great. All right, 7.0 is the consent agenda. And is there anything from the consent agenda somebody would like pulled for further discussion? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. All right, 8.0 is discussion action items. And the first is to approve auditor, and we have a list in the packet. Scrolling to it.
So for the uninitiated, how often do these audits take place?
Do you want me to do a motion, or do you want to make
You
a
wanna-
recommendation?
You wanna discuss, we do have a recommendation.
Okay.
So, no, we have not gone out for a bid for a number of years. We did see, in the Whitley, kind of around the region actually, business managers, superintendents, we saw kind of an increase in this area, for audits, and so we decided to go out for bid. And we received 3 bids. Whitley, who had been our auditor, decided not to provide a bid.
Oh, okay.
They've had some staffing changes, and then we're smaller, and so they decided to not provide a bid. Of the 3 bids, we're recommending Bergen KDV firm. So they're gonna work, another component with them is that they're gonna do some of their work, a lot of it via an electronic means. Lori and Pam do a lot of that data collection, and so it's gonna be scanning documents back and forth to their office, and they feel that our district office feels that they will be a workable model. With doing it under this model as well, we are going to incur 15% savings.
50?
15.
1
sorry.
5.
1 5. And so that's why we recommend to go forward with the Bergen KDP.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it's the most expensive?
In the long run, no.
No, because of a 5%.
15% discount.
Okay, so it's to something. Okay.
5% reduced
Alright.
combined with field work of another district, and then, the remote field work takes it another 15,300.
Okay, so that's what makes it. I was looking at the original numbers first.
Oh, how does anyone recall what we paid Whipfly last year? Just out of curiosity.
It was over $16,000.
Sure. Okay.
What's the savings?
Where is this outfit out of?
They have a few different offices, I'm not sure, I believe I sent the request to a St. Paul or Minneapolis office, but I think they have an office in northern Minnesota because they've started picking up more school districts.
Do you know people or groups that work with them before, they come from?
I do, Jennifer Smith was our past auditor from Whipfly. She actually, when I talked to her about, she no longer works for Whipfly. When I talked to her about pursuing a new auditor, she thought, Bergen KDD would be one of her first choices. One of the other ones that decided not to quote was another one of her choices, so. And then just last week, I actually met, when I was at our Masville conference, I met the two ladies that would be involved in doing our audit, and so I met with them too.
Looks like, I just did a little search, it looks like they're in Iowa and Minnesota with an office in Omaha and Kansas City. So obviously a big organization. Is that, I mean, sort of losing a little bit more of a regionally tied group, I mean, is that gonna affect like your guys'
No,
confidence level or rapport or?
So with Whipfly, I did a lot of it remotely anyhow. I think last year Tim was only in the office maybe for a day and a half at the most, with Pam's nodding her head in agreement. So I feel like it just helps us with how we work, where we'll be able to spread out the documents and be able to scan them to them, and and if there is a need to meet, they're taking on a few other districts in our region too, so if there is a need, we could always meet up with them in Duluth or at Lake Superior District, and if we needed to meet face to face. The beautiful thing is Jennifer, our past auditor, works now for ARC, Arrowhead Regional Computing Consortium, so she's accessible if there's things that they want explained from our last audit. She's now part of our team that helps us in ARC. So any of our work papers to explain to her, the new auditors, to explain to the new auditors what we did in the past, Jennifer's available to help us do that.
And some would say, some have the mindset that it's a good time to it's a good thing to rotate auditors sometimes.
Sure.
And so, some people disagree with that, but sometimes they say, it's a good thing to get a new set of eyes in, and maybe they,
Who are they?
industry, like in the industry.
Other auditors.
In the industry.
Just wanna clarify.
Sometimes like, in the financial world, like I speak to that. In the financial world, sometimes you, go with an audit firm, different audit firm, just, because you want a different set of eyes, maybe a different opinion, and so with schools, it's, it's probably a little bit more standard, but, sometimes that you find a better fit with a different group too, so.
Well, thanks for your insight on that.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion? Otherwise, we have a motion. The recommendation is to approve.
No motion.
Right, I'm sorry. If someone would like to make a motion to approve, the recommendation is Bergen K.
I will make a motion that we approve Bergen KDD as our auditor.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. 8.2 is to approve a resolution for amending 2018-2019 school calendar. And on our green sheet, it's the same. It's the same, it's or 8.2 that we've got separate here. And so this is done by resolution, and so
I need, someone to make a motion for the resolution that's provided below.
Can we get a say with this?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have an opinion or?
This is a, so with this, the governor, I don't know if you're following, this is one of the areas, kind of an extreme winter. More so actually in southern Minnesota, they were double figures, the number of days of school that they missed. We made every effort we could using Fridays, actually May 24th is another Friday coming up, that we are going to utilize as a makeup day. The next makeup day that we would be putting into place would be June 3rd. And it just didn't make sense to do a makeup day, just to do a makeup day with the provision that the governor has allowed that we will not be penalized as far as any funding. No district will be penalized for any funding, passing a resolution such as what's been proposed to you. So my opinion is yes, to move forward with this. Regarding our teachers, they have all their days that they have contracted. So this is specific to student specific. Everyone else is made whole, and that's what the governor's proposal is. He just wanted to make sure that no one was not paid for a day.
And when he talks about June 3rd getting added, the educational value of that day is very low. But I'm also getting questions on why are we making up these days when the governor forgave them, so to speak. And, you know, my answer is that our kids deserve that education, and we have those days that we can add to our students. So it's not that we're going until the middle of June, it's that we have those days built in, so we can use them to educate our kids.
And those makeup days earlier in the year have more value, which I think one of you wrote in your report anyways.
Yeah, we
Versus
still have
the last
finals.
day.
Right.
It was more valuable than being up there earlier.
Yeah, we still have finals and projects
And AP courses need those days to be in place. You know, there's lots of reasons why to have school. We all know that that's not here, but, so that one day, I think, is easier to forgive than any others.
And that's the only one left for the year.
Well,
Except that.
If we.
unless something happens in the next 2 weeks.
Nothing's gonna happen.
It should theoretically still stand that we would.
We could do another resolution if need
Yeah.
be.
It's happened in May before.
I
so.
know.
It's supposed to be possible snow on Sunday.
It did. What? It's not even funny.
It'll be done before. the
Possible
next
snow in the
lesson.
air on
We
Sunday.
decided, yeah.
But this is specific to April 12th, you're
So,
right.
I'm not really sure what the verbiage would be to create a motion for this.
Oh.
Is that a great?
Everything's here. And so I just need, I need someone to make the motion and then, second, and then we do, it's just.
Just read the top, that.
Okay,
that
so
line.
I make a motion, we approve the resolution for school calendar adjustment for the 2018-19 school year.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
One other question, looking at this summary,
Page 1 or 2.
8.2 of this thing.
The one that has
There's
Governor
two
Walls on
pages.
top?
Yeah, the half pager there,
Okay.
Governor Walls and Snowville, is this,
It was just information that went.
That was
the
information
Okay.
piece for you.
so it mentions here, district is also encouraged to adopt an e-learning plan. So, is that been a part of the discussion in this, or is that spurred?
That'd be part of the
conversation?
administrative team. You know, one of our issues is that not all of our students have internet
Sure.
capabilities.
Right.
And because of that, we would need to really design something, so if there's, you know, these 40 kids that are out there that don't, what are we gonna do for them?
Right.
On an e-learning day. And so that's, we have had conversations administratively, you know, should we look at designing something, so
Sure.
that is something that we need to really consider, if it's a possibility for us or not.
Sure. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think planning for this to happen again is not a bad idea.
No, we know where we live.
Okay, thanks.
And maybe an e-learning plan could be more of an optional plan. I know less students are likely to utilize it, but if there's something available online for those overachievers or those students really pushed by their parents.
You're not gonna sit around for that.
You gotta do some school or you're gonna bug me.
And it has been, some of the articles that Dr. Crandall has shared with us as an administrative team. Also, there can be work that can be, oh, in case there's a snow day, here it is, and give it out in November or something.
Sure.
Some of the other articles have just said, you know, it doesn't have to be an online thing, but it could be just, well, read with your child, do this and do this and do this. This is what you should do if there happens to be a snow day.
Or could it be encouraged amongst staff when you know bad weather is coming to have
Right.
something to do with what they're doing right now,
Right.
rather than handing out something generic in November for just in
Absolutely.
case. Like,
Yeah.
there's a chance of a snow day Friday, I prepared this.
Yeah, and we have so many programs that are available online. A lot of our teachers have the classroom set up with
Google Classroom and
Google
everything,
and,
yeah.
you know, there's so many tools that we have in place right now that if we were to put it like a bingo board together and if on a snow day you have to pick 5 squares, they could be applicable to IXL math or RAS kids, you know, for the elementary. It could be that Google Classroom where they would go there. But also to have the paper copies just in case they don't have it.
Yeah, if it was handed out in
Yeah.
advance for those
Yep.
students who don't have
Yep.
internet access.
Exactly.
Powers up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Your phone sometimes still works anyways.
For a while.
For a while.
Yeah.
And if you have those backup USB chargers too.
Is this Pam, is this your roll call for the resolution?
No, this is just any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Resolution, was adopted. Whereupon the resolution was declared duly adopted by, do you see that at the bottom?
That's just your signature.
Okay, perfect. We don't do these that often, so bear with me.
It's good.
Oh, that's cause clerk.
Yeah.
Okay, 8.3 is to approve the FY20 budget with expenditures totaling 8.8 million and revenues totaling 8.4 million.
Alright, if you take a look in your board packet, there are the FY20 proposed budget notes. In there, we have all utilities were reviewed and updated, gas, propane, electric, water. Updated supplies budgets on the amount per pupil basis. Updated athletics, and so this is including track as a district sport, where in the past it was the running club. No longer depend on the booster club for junior high coaching reimbursement, and increase athletic supplies, a nominal realistic amount. It's been put in. Due to the bond referendum, the district has been able to build a fund balance in district long-term facility maintenance reserve funds. And so these funds can't be used on other expenses, but are for the maintenance and upkeep of existing facilities. So we have this fund, it's in, when we talk funds 1, 3, and 5, it's in fund 5, but it's a restricted fund, it can only be used for deferred maintenance. Because of that, that's part of our fund balance increasing. We also have TRA, Teacher Retirement Association. That it's been ticking up. We increased this year, we're increasing next year. So for 2 more years, and then it kicks in. It's
I think
2000
it keeps going.
Keeps going for about
5.
for a total of 5 years. So we just did year 1, next year's year 2. And then in year 5, then the employee side will also match up with that. Let's see, we also have our current staffing levels, so all the steps that folks have taken are included, and then expectations to be able to assign more funds in November for future budget purchases, technology upgrades, and curriculum schedules. So, following the audit, we're looking at moving some more funds as far as designating them and assigning them into those areas for the future. So we'll have the funds available when it comes time to purchase buses. when it comes time to, implement the new curriculum, so they'll be already assigned. And so we're moving this, forward, recommending, the board adopt the FY '20, budget.
So, the updated supplies budget, was that, how, can you explain that a little bit better?
Because based off of our ADM, and can you share?
You mentioned doing a per student amount,
Mhm.
where before we just had like a middle school, high school amount, and this would kind of spread it out more evenly across some of the students and the classes and.
So it's similar.
Before it
amount,
was
just-
kind of
No, it's-
$100,
it's a-
$100, whatever,
Yeah.
and now it's, okay, we have 50 kids for every child, they're gonna be, for supplies, we're gonna say it's $50 per child, 500, whatever that is.
We increased it a bit from
And so-
where it was.
Okay.
So we looked at where we were, and, maybe did a slight increase, not monster.
I know we discussed that before,
Yes.
so I was just wondering exactly how that.
And how will that be spread out as far as who?
Then,
gets to-
that will be our administrative team.
We're just gonna make sure that it's equitable, elementary students, they receive the same teacher for the most part throughout their day, so they're teaching not just reading, but all of the subjects, versus a high school where they have the same subject, but it's distributed by a number of students. So that's kind of how we're going to look at it, to distribute it, how is it gonna look? Who's using Google Classroom, because that reduces some of the supplies that are needed. It'll be more equitable, I think, by looking at it per student.
Another thing that their office does at the school office, they purchase the sticky notes, markers, kind of those staples, paper clips. And so they have a storeroom. And so if you need them, so it's not, all the teachers aren't ordering paper clips. And all of a sudden you have boxes and boxes and boxes of paper clips, and you really don't need that. Same with, like Post-it notes, markers, all those things. They can get those from the common location that the office purchases those supplies for folks. So when those go low, then we know, we need to get more paper clips, we need to get more staples, so we're not, going around. A teacher retires and we open up the cupboard and go, oh, wow. There's 15 boxes
So
of
what
paper.
hoarding.
Yeah.
People do it though.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And the consumables, like the workbooks or, some of the instructional tools will not come out of that budget, that's a different set of that budget.
Thanks for your clarification.
Do you mind, another question?
Oh, yeah, that's.
So, proposed budget includes increased employer responsibility for TRA, was there a recent?
It went
must have happened
from,
before I
it
got
was,
here, did they adjust?
7.15, and then this year it went up to 7.36, is the number I remember. And I don't know what it goes up.
I think it was,
Oh.
it was 7.5, and then it went up to 7.71.
Oh, is that
and
what-
then
oh.
next year it goes up again.
So is
But
that
that's a
part-
requirement, it's not a choice.
Was
Yeah.
this, was this part of a
Percentage-
bigger
percentage
effort
of the-
by
The state.
TRA to
Yeah.
kind of make sure they have enough money? That's
Exactly.
the piece that,
Oh.
because that must have happened before I got here, right, so I'm just wondering. Okay.
Oh, I-
Cause a lot of the baby boomers are retiring.
That's what I
So
was
we have a lot of
Dang,
teachers
those
that
people.
are.
My
But-
numbers were from Chico.
Okay.
It was 15.15 and it went to 15.36, which were.
I expect you to have
Reflective
all
only
these
on one
numbers
side.
memorized in your head.
That's why I have-
Every moment.
That's like looking at Lori, I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, so next year there will be another increase in the following, so as Lori shared, it's a 5-year. And then when we hit that 5 years, right now, the teachers aren't matching, so they're gonna go from
7.5.
up to the 8. Isn't that where they're going, to 8?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're.
It might be
working
8.1 or something, so each side puts in the amount, so that's gonna be a big change in their paycheck will be reflected. But not for everyone.
And what's initiating that change?
That's what I was
Oh.
asking.
TRA, just to make sure that,
The
Teacher Retirement
Money.
Association, to make sure that they have the funds for all.
And
their
why,
folks.
I guess what I meant was, the teacher's share that is going to be starting, that's currently not in
5 years.
place? Like, why is it not in place now, or why will it be in place then? Like, what is?
That would be a great question for TRA, you know, why was it set up that they're not jumping until the 5 year?
Okay,
I don't have that, I can get that for you though.
okay, I mean, it's one of, it sounds like one of those things that it is what it is, just sort of
Oh.
a curiosity.
Ms. Backlund, some information.
I think, Leanne, it's because it's modeled after PERA, which is the,
Public
Public
employees.
employees. that the employers already did a little bit more where the employers used to be equal, so I think they were trying to get the employers to carry a little bit more of the responsibility. So they are increasing the employer's share before they increase the employee share.
Okay. And is this on some sort of like cycle? Or is this
They
just
haven't
like from the
touched this
beginning
for
of
a
time?
long time.
I don't think it's been touched since I started
Yeah, so it's
working
been
on payroll, so
a long
10
number
years.
of years.
Okay.
Any other questions? Motion.
Make a motion to approve, fiscal year 2020 budget.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. 8.4, goals report.
Back on April 27th, we did have the active shooter training here in the building. It went well. So that was kind of the big thing in the safety world, but also making sure that we have two fire drills left. Was that what you said?
It's supposed to be a
Oh.
surprise.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
no,
got
it
them
is
all done.
zero. I like this.
We're
Sweet.
done.
That's good, I think we finished the last one.
All right, so we're done. Every year, schools across the state, they need to have 5 fire drills, 5 lockdown drills, and 1 tornado drill. So we've completed that cycle. So that's one of the pieces there. Moving down, academics, MCA tests have been completed. And then we also have been working on middle school improvement. Remember, if you recall, at the beginning of the year, I shared, we had some areas of, it was attendance and low math scores in math, in the middle school. And so we have an improvement plan that hasn't been finalized, but Mitch has been spearheading that with middle school staff, and he's been working with, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but an MDE individual who, that's what their job is, to help us develop our plan. So that's in process as well. And that will actually be included in our world's best workforce plan, so that will be when you'll see that in the fall.
What is the timeframe? So they say they put you on this improvement plan.
3 years.
Okay.
We'll
So-
be at the same status for 3 years.
Okay. So do they look at the data then every year, or do they wait and look at it at the 3rd year? So do they, like?
We review the data, and
Okay.
I'm not sure what their process is, if they're gonna be asking for our data. This one, actually, I'll be finding out on Wednesday next week, and with a meeting with the, specifically on that. But we're implementing next year, so for the next 3 years, we'll have this plan in place and tweak it as needed. And now, as I mentioned, was in the math area and attendance.
So is that, well, we just approved the budget, but I mean, is there like, does that require some like special allotment of funds, you know, to ensure that we are getting there, or is that a barrier?
We're hoping, and we just haven't heard yet. I've mentioned ATSIS, the alternative delivery, I always forget the acronym, but it's a intervention program. And that's going to be addressing this area. That, along with just attendance, do more of a check and connect with Anna Sandstrom involved, with our dad, counselor. Because those are the 2 main areas, getting some interventions for those students who need it, and then attendance interventions as well. So that would be more like check and connect would be, call up the home. What's going going on, they sick, okay, what can we do with? And we've had plans where we call home, so look at Miss Bishop, she's probably done that before too. I did it as a special needs teacher, you know, my alarm would go off and then I would call home. Because their alarm clocks were all broken, where you get money from the social worker and you provide them an alarm clock. But those that check and connect, you might have a group of 10 kids that Anna Samstrom calls in the morning just to verify that they're out of bed.
Sure.
So the improvement plan, is that, you'll have some ways for us to actually measure?
Yes, there are SMART goals, so
SMART
specific,
goals.
measurable, timely.
So we can actually hopefully see some
Thank you.
progress for the school.
All these acronyms.
Yeah, so that was part of my question is, so, you know, obviously you don't wanna wait till the third year to say, oh, we're making it, so like after year one, you say, okay.
That'll be reported.
We would
out.
hope that,
Mhm.
you know, you see, even if it's slight, an improvement, and so, yeah, so that was kind of what I was wondering. How we're gonna track it.
So that'll be yearly, that, they want that integrated into your World's Best Workforce report. And so that will be part of our data that we'll be reporting out to the board and to the state.
So, since we're on the topic, and with the assumption that we're always trying to provide the best education we can for everybody, I mean, what is, if we don't achieve, you know, whatever metric of the improvement plan, you know, what happens?
It's all part of the
then?
evaluation process, then
Sure.
we, obviously,
What's-
whatever we were doing wasn't working.
Sure, and so what's
So
at
we need to
risk,
address it.
like, what, is it a financial penalty, or is it what happens, what's the next step if you don't over these 3 years, get your act together, what do they do?
They label you.
Okay,
Right now, we're under improvement, we could, I can't remember what the lower, I don't remember what the lower one is, but there's just another label, and then it's, more intensive, meaning that they come in and work with you on your plan, and there's more accountability through the state as far as our plan.
Do we get?
They used to be called Focus, it has a new name, they changed it,
So the plan that we developed, is there some opportunity for the state to review that or give us feedback?
Oh,
on
it gets
before
sent
we
to the
approve?
state.
Okay.
Yes, it gets sent to the state can kick it back and say, no, you know,
Okay.
this isn't, rigorous enough to see improvement. And so they can kick back to us, and then we have to reevaluate what we have in there or don't have in there.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's a with the state that are reviewing all these things. And we're working with someone, that's what their job is to work with our region on these plans. And we're not alone. Just down the road, the Silver Bay, they've written their plan. Hermantown was at the meetings, Hill City, Deer River, Virginia. Just name some of the, yeah, a couple other school districts there too. All in the same position. It's usually, and it's not the whole district, in our case, it's our middle school.
sure.
That was identified. It's typically middle schools and elementary schools, because the high school, you just have 2 grades. 11th grade takes the math test, and the 10th grade takes your reading test. But at the elementary, 3rd through 6th, or 3rd through 5th, they're taking reading, math, and science. And then 7th and 8th, or 6th, 7th, and 8th, they're taking reading, math, and science every year. So it's typically those grade configurations that you usually get right.
So it seems to me, without going into the weeds of this plan, is there like a component looking at how are we helping prepare, 4th, 5th, 6th graders for middle school? Cause we're talking about a 3-year span here, and they're not in middle school for 3 years. You know what I
Actually,
mean? So
we
is
have
it-
Title I that's working with those students.
And is that like a part of this plan? Does that like dip down into that level so that they're set
It's
up
kind of
better for
boxed in.
success?
It's boxed into 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Okay. But you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we're aware that those are the kids who are coming in, so we need to make sure that they're getting what they need.
Sure.
And something that we are doing for next year is for our 4th and 5th grade students, we are going to be departmentalizing a little bit so that our students in those pre-middle school years are going to get a feel for the middle school, so it's not such a drastic change. In many schools across the state, if they change schools or they go from an elementary school to a middle school, you'll see a dip in those scores, just because of all the other things that are going on in their brains, their bodies, everywhere. So that's part of why we're trying to just acclimate a little bit.
So how, can you explain more what compartmentalizing
Yes.
in fifth grade is gonna be or look like?
Yeah, so, we have 3 teachers in 4th and 5th grade. One will specialize in math, one will specialize in language arts, and the other will specialize in science. And so they will teach their,
Specialty
subject,
area.
yeah, to each of 3 groups, and teach it like 5th grade science twice, 4th grade science once. So they'll just become kind of an expert in their subject. And it also allows the students to feel that movement of what that feels like, how to get acclimated to a teacher, even though they know the teachers. But it just gives them a little bit of a step up versus just, oh, boom, sorry, you guys are on an 88-minute schedule, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that is gonna be in place for next year.
Sure.
And the teachers kind of develop that with a little seed planting for me, so, yeah.
And the nice thing on the teacher side is now I can really focus in on English. I don't, okay, I got my English and now I have to, okay, I got my math plans, I got this group, this group.
And ultimately, it's less lesson planning if you have 2
Yes.
of the same fifth grade math and fifth grade reading classes, you get 2 of the same lessons, so it really does make it more in-depth.
We're also doing a boost time, that's what we're calling it, it has been my time in the past, where we'll have specific paraprofessionals and some of the interventionists working with groups for 20 minutes strategically, either on higher level thinking activities and some of those boost activities that need to close some of that gap in the 4th and 5th grade. Oh, that's gonna be K-12, or K-5, but that also gives that individualized, need some attention versus a whole group, and those will be small groups.
And that's just another version of things we've already done between the
Correct.
time and Ms.
Correct.
Maris used to do, so.
Yeah, this one is gonna be really focused on language arts and math. But those other programs, like the radio program, the recycling, those types of things are not gonna go away. But that 20-minute chunk is gonna be dedicated to language arts and dedicated to math. So 2 different times every day that they will see just a little boost in those academic skills, so.
Oh, very successful plan, it sounds good. You never know till
Yeah.
you actually implement it.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of things in the
Yeah.
works, getting ready for next year.
So, I do have a question.
Yeah.
I think all the safety planning and active shooter training, well, I don't wanna participate in that, I think it's, really important, but I'm stumped a little bit how it ties to goal 1, particularly about diversity and racial awareness. That-
I put it in the world, I put that down just
Okay.
on the notify the board, it's more in the world of safety
Okay.
versus anything else.
Okay.
Positive
But no.
school climate includes safety.
Yeah, yeah, when you get down to it, if I feel safe,
Okay.
that helps with the overall
I just
climate.
couldn't quite
It's a
figure out
little
how that was
race, but-
connected, so.
Yeah. We didn't have any
Not great.
particular specific activities
Okay.
that I had recorded for that goal.
And I don't think it's anywhere else in our packet, I just always enjoy an update, the secret goal of communication, how is that?
Oh, actually, I was gonna hit that.
Secret goal. It's not one of our goals, but it's.
Well, it kinda hits in there, in that, for the, so we have our app that's coming out. It's been quite busy, and so some of our communications as far as getting it all set up. The company that we're working with, they're ready. They're ready to roll out. They need a few bits and pieces of information. Pam and Mitch, and there are a couple other people who are gonna be assigned kind of like at the upper level, for administrating. Then they need to delineate out, okay, so for example, like our basketball coach, our football coach, our softball coach, they're gonna get access so that if they're at their game, wherever it happens to be, if they're down in Moose Lake, the game's over, they're gonna have access just to hit, boom, boom, here's the score. And it's just gonna go. It won't have to go through somebody to get approved. because that's pretty straightforward. That may be your only little piece. Teachers, you need to assign them the access to be able to take pictures on their field trip, or if they're outside of recess, or whatever it happens to be, great activity in class. Those would go through like Ms. Myers or Mr. Dorr. And so that's the piece now that they're needing to get constructed. We're looking at getting that constructed this summer, and then the full-on marketing starting in August, so that, you know, at open house, we can, you know, put up the screen and show, hey, here's the app, and have some people. It might even get to the point we get a couple of kids who are very savvy, hand me your phone. There, now the app is on your phone. But show them, you know, live application of it.
And this might be my mom brain, because I might have asked the same question at the last meeting. I apologize if I'm repetitive. Are we gonna have a parent education night on how, for parents to have better understanding of the app? And I know there's parents that don't really have a great understanding of Parent Portal as it is right now. I don't know if that's something we include in open house night, or possibly another night throughout the year, but I think spending time and effort to utilize communications that people don't fully understand is not that valuable,
Put
so
that down,
make
we'll
sure.
put that in our.
And even if you get some
Oh, that's
parents
good.
to learn a little bit, hopefully they'll help when
You know,
you
yeah,
have a
like-
group of people that can say, oh no, there's this great app and this is how you use it. Once you educate some, even though some, no matter
Yeah,
how
'cause
hard
we
you
could
try,
have
not
some-
everyone's gonna come.
We can just have a couple of tech people, because those are both, you know, technology, and just, you know, hey, if you go to the library, we're gonna have this, and even advertise, so parents know that if they go to the library, they can learn about the app and.
Got a face-to-face meeting or something at some point, you know, whether it be an open house night, this is
Well,
an
open house is
option,
a great
or-
time, because we have. a
Because
lot
your
of-
people are already there anyways,
Lisa also has like a tech night after school. I'm not sure if it's once a week. She doesn't do that anymore?
It's not once a week. It's like
Okay.
every 2 months, I believe. we're
Okay,
doing that.
I have just seen her like
Yeah.
setting up, and she can also,
so what is this, is that
she
something
is
that-
here, and she has a table out in front, and she will give a lesson on some sort of technology, so that might be something we could test her with as well with the app.
And that might be something
Yeah.
we could communicate to more people
Oh, yeah.
that's happening.
Right.
Yeah, we can get that out in the good news and other venues. I just remember I was having a conversation with Mitch, and some parents said, why do I don't know, I didn't know this was happening. And he said, where do you get your news? Yes, well, do you read the Viking Voice? No. Do you look at the webpage? No. We just went through a litany of all the places that we, and the answer was no for every one of them.
But every parent's gonna think it's our responsibility to have found a way to reach them.
And I think we need to look for some solutions, like where do they get their information?
I mean, Jeff, I'm sorry, but if we could solve this question, we'd make $1 million.
Yes. But I think we need to continue to ask that
Efforts
feedback.
towards that.
And that's where this
Well, that's
app
what this app
is,
is.
the
Yeah.
parent gets to make the choice of,
Choice.
how do you wanna get it? Do you wanna get an email? Do you wanna get it a tweet, phone call, a text, instant message, Instagram?
But if they don't know how to set it up, it's not gonna do any good for them.
Well, and that's
More
what you
lessons.
just said.
Yeah,
More
well,
lessons.
yeah, something lessons or something. My request.
Yeah, so that,
I'll attend it, I'm one of
that
those
should,
parents.
that will be coming. And
You're
then.
on goal 3?
Goal 3, Mr. Nelson, myself, and Ms. Backlund met, long-term facility maintenance planning, so we got that going and have some, our roof is gonna be going on, that's actually not long-term facility maintenance, but some of the things that are. We've got some tiling that's gonna be going on this summer, so some floor pieces along with some painting of some rooms and such, and looking out into the future. Putting some funds in, for example, we sealed our parking lots, well, that's gonna wear down. In probably about 5 years, we're gonna need to reseal, so looking at that, and placing those type of items into our maintenance budget, putting a cycle in, okay, if we painted these rooms this year, we're gonna be able to leave those alone, we need to paint this wing, we need to paint this wing, and putting those types of pieces in. We're really focusing, as I mentioned, on the floors. We actually have a schedule for this summer, so our floors are gonna be pretty well covered here, and they're gonna last quite some time.
I like to see that.
And then, of course, working on the budget process, which we have brought forward to you today, and recommended that to, we move forward.
Thank you.
And thank you, Lori, for all the hard work on
Yes.
the budget
Yes,
process.
Yes,
definitely.
thank you.
Lori.
the bond update, 8.5.
So in there, you'll see, and under technology, we paid for the new app, a large figure for the first year, and it's gonna be cut a little bit less than half for the future. The big setup cost was in there. And as I mentioned, we're looking at doing a rollout for the summer marketing, and great ideas from Carrie to some teaching the parents. Okay, so they're up to date and can do that. And I alluded to, we had our first construction meeting Tuesday this week, and Mr. Nelson's gonna be our facilities guy. He's gonna be the guy on site. Sue from the ACA was there, Mr. Gore was there, myself, and so we've got it set. Cross Anderson's very confident they're going to be done before the end of June. We're looking at getting the interior, the ceiling painted and such after all the little pieces, the electrical, HVAC, all those systems are taken care of. As soon as they get sealed up, they're gonna seal up the roof.
And that's the original plan timeline, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's not disrupting
No,
summer
they're gonna
shows,
start,
obviously.
next week. We're gonna change our parking, because they're gonna start some things, but we're down here away from classes. They're gonna be outside. Yeah, they're gonna have their own facilities as well, so the construction crew's not gonna be coming in using our facilities either.
Great. Will that be particularly loud for the art students, do you think?
No, it's not actually even over there.
They're gonna be over the auditorium.
They're over the auditorium.
There'll be one day with a crane that we may end up, but other than that, they'll be fine.
We'll live through it.
They'll be fine. Last year was loud, this year will be fine.
Yeah, so that's moving forward, which is exciting to get that project done. We had, you'll see under transportation that we had some vehicle parts, and that was for a new trailer, the strapping system for the new trailer. And otherwise, those were the expenditures that we took care of under the bond.
So bottom line, right now, we have,
$237,000
Left.
almost 200.
okay, and the roof is separate, we still have that, the roof, or do you have that figured in here? How much
Mhm.
that was? Okay. And what is the plan for the 237 then?
We're gonna make sure after the roof project that everything's settled out, and then, based on that, then we're gonna relook at, make sure that we have checked everything off. And we actually had some ideas, presented. We have, something for facilities, team, to get, better equipment there for moving, actually, and with that, we sell some equipment, so kind of balance things out there. It's called ToolPad, which is a very multiple use, piece of equipment that will help in many areas. And so we're looking at doing that as one item. And then we have multiple things. We have some things in the locker room we're looking at, in the shower stalls, to make them stalls. Instead of just like right now, if we walked in the shower, we'd all be in the shower together.
The student locker room?
Student locker rooms.
Yeah.
And so we're
many of the
looking at
students choose
putting.
not to shower after
Yeah,
dinner because they're
exactly,
uncomfortable.
because it's just a wide open
That
shower.
open.
And so we already did some exploration, I think it was a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago now. What would it cost to put in so you'd have shower stalls? To make it more comfortable for students for that.
Yeah, there's some stinky middle school students.
Yeah, you know, so those are some of the things off the top of my head that I was aware of. Trying to think, were there any, you think of anything else, Mr. Nelson? I know we talked about the facilities piece.
Flooring's gonna come out of that.
Oh, flooring. So, and that actually, some of this flooring now is coming out of our long-term facilities, which we can hold up. They want us to spend this down, so.
So I had a question, and now, I meant to catch you the last time I was in office, Mr. Nelson, regarding, cause I saw that we had to jet the bus garage sewer line again in March. And that happened a few times this winter. I'm just wondering, like, perhaps there's a more durable fix for what's going on there?
There is. And I have, Crawford Excavating gonna help me with that.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So that might be
So that's
something.
on that's
Yeah.
No,
actively
we're gonna
being
figure out what the cost is, because I can jet that sewer a lot of times compared to
Sure.
running hundreds of feet of, I mean, we're gonna investigate that.
Yeah.
But typically, it's not this year, for whatever reason, the frost was driven down, and,
Sure.
I mean, so we have that multiple, we don't run a lot of water over there.
Yep.
So, you come in, you flush the toilet, you leave, you know, that water's sitting there, you know what I
Right.
mean? So we need to make a plan, do we leave a faucet run? Do we pay a little extra in water do we dig it up and spend, so no, that's.
Sure.
Everything right now, actually, I had Gopher State one called, we've got everything marked.
Okay.
So we're gonna look at and see what kind of a process it would take us, cause we're gonna have to go all the way across the parking lot and.
Okay. Cause obviously, if you have some sort of, problem that doesn't get addressed with the jetting, a timely jetting, you know, that's
Mhm.
obviously gonna be, unpleasant, annoying, and perhaps expensive
Yeah.
problem to fix as well, so.
That's like at my house, I have them come once a year, whether I need it or not, just to,
Yeah.
you know, and that's just talking with Pete Greshik, it's maintain your line once
Sure.
a year.
Sure.
You know, so it's.
Okay.
But
It's
no,
not a-
we're gonna look at it and see, I mean,
Cool.
there could be a break in that thing where water pools up.
Sure.
You know, we just don't know, and.
Well, and
it's
it's-
trying to
Is it
get cost.
it's a new building, is it a construction flaw potentially, or is it something that?
No, it's
No, it's
the
not.
original
It's
sewer.
the original sewer lines.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my understanding of how that may work is like if you have like really low flow, then it's not making it, and then it can have, you know, spending time in the line, and that can freeze, and then, you know, you get a little freeze, and then it kind of accumulates.
Well,
So
then we
maybe-
drive our buses over it every day, so, I
Yeah.
mean, that's just driving that frost down
Right.
as well.
So we needed some heated driveways.
Yeah, so we're
There you
looking
go.
at.
Well, we do have some excess money.
All right,
Yeah, no,
thank you.
we're gonna look at it, and we just may wrap it in insulation.
Okay.
Sure, okay, thanks.
Any other thing on the bond? Okay, 8.6, to approve the expenditure revenue report, April 2019.
You have that report in your packet as well. Let's see, we're on track, based on our budget. We're a bit of a fund balance.
Remind me, where should we be percentage-wise?
It's not quite, are we at 80?
Well, we still have to pay the teachers their you know, June, July, and August, and then there's no May numbers in there yet, so.
Yes, we have a big expense coming.
4 months, so I would say that's the biggest, our biggest expense, so 75% maybe.
So we need to send a motion then.
I made a motion to approve the expenditure.
Second?
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. 9.0 is personnel items. 9.1 to approve non-renewal of, Spanish teacher Maggie Fredericks.
Make the motion?
Seconded.
It's a roll call.
Yeah, and this is a roll call vote, so I will, go around the table here. Lundy, aye.
Rogers, aye. Jansen, aye.
Shirley, aye.
And then we have one absent. All right, 9.2 to approve the resignation of Chris Elfin, part-time health office LPN. And the letter.
Letters, in your packet.
I will make a motion to approve the resignation of Chris Elfin, part-time health office LPN. Regretful resignation with best wishes.
I'll second that.
Okay,
No, our Envirothon team made it to state, and so they will be competing on the 20th. So Monday they'll be competing. Yes, and that's a tradition I've heard here, so that's excellent. We have lots happening in May, so be sure you keep an eye on our calendar, lots going on. Also, we are working with a group of felters to clean up this forest, and with our timber frame being here. They are going to put some of their felting projects in this area, and I am excited that we can work with the community to beautify our school.
So felting projects like felting art?
Just like that, yeah. And they're gonna make some different outdoorsy type of items. She brought a frog in to show me that was felted, and at first they wanted to put them in the school forest back here. This is a little bit more visible. I think it'll be used when they're doing this bike path. If you've noticed, there's been a lot of bikes go by. And the walking path, with the timber frame, it'll be, I think, more visible. We also have some security cameras to make sure that things aren't damaged, even though they know with elements and those kind of things that they will deteriorate over time. But just excited that we can need to do that. And maybe see it. Have fun. One more thing. Pine Ridge, we are doing a supply drive for Pine Ridge, which our students are excited. Pine Ridge is in South Dakota, and they received they're a pretty poor reservation. They have had a lot of hard times recently. Arena is in connection with a truck that is bringing supplies from all over this area down to Pine Ridge. So I thought it would be a great moment for our students to be able to add to it and realize how lucky they are. The first day that I announced this, it was the cutest thing ever. A kid got Viking vouchers, got a Viking voucher as a PBIS, positive behavior ticket that they get. They buy, they come down, pick a prize, brought that prize right into my office and put this bouncy ball into the supply drive box.
Oh.
It actually doesn't start until Monday, but I'm taking supplies out of it.
How do you say no?
Right. Lots of great things going on in our school, and we just have a lot to be proud of.
And we were able to raise like $350 on a GoFundMe. So we've been gave Megan $250 for the kids to pick out books through Scholastic. So we'll take books. It's Allen Youth Center out there, and we bought quite a few art supplies and some other books, and it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And gathering up people donating games that they have in their house, they're still in good shape.
Blankets. There's, I just continue a rolling announcement every morning. I don't do it every morning because then they won't hear it anymore, but I do. Probably every other day I'm announcing those things, and today I got a box of construction paper, it's slowly coming in. Even though it hasn't started, I wanted to put a date on it, but it's coming.
And my garage is getting kind of full.
Yes.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for your work on that, ladies.
Yeah, it's good work.
It's good work.
Okay, thank you. 10.2, superintendent report.
All right, so you got my information there, but highlight wise, received a certificate of appreciation awarded to our public schools. This is really the work done by Ms. Backlund and Mitch for bringing all discrepancies from the 2018-2019 STAR report into compliance.
What is the STAR report?
STAR report is about your licensing, so we make sure that all of our staff are licensed appropriately. So it says here, the Minnesota Professional Educator Licensing and Standards Board would like to extend our appreciation to all staff in this district for your hard work and dedication to our students and their education.
A lot of hard work into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
So a lot of work there. And then a lot of good things going on. Last night was it was a great event. We were at the award ceremony in Grand Portage, and I'm not sure how many high fives Miss Meyer gave, but she gave a high five to every one of our students that is from Grand Portage that was at the event last night. So that was really neat to see the smiles of the kids that they were sprinting up to get their awards, some of them. Another great thing that was just started, give some accolades to Mr. Dory, even though he's not here, but he, along with the coaches, they started something new this year, which will be the Grand Portage Student Athlete Award. And Joe Deschamps was the recipient, and he was surprised and shocked a little bit. He was
Probably
very
delighted
humbled
secretly.
there. Yeah. But the way Mr. Dora presented it, he was very thankful to all the parents in the community as a whole. Just shared the fact that we, as a school district, see the point of, for any student from Grand Portage, if they want to be an athlete, first off, they drive an hour here every day just to get here to school. So if you're an athlete, you have practice.
And there's no late bus anymore.
No late bus, somebody has to come and get them, so he's thanking the parents as well, because he knows if you have a student athlete, someone's got to do that transportation.
Grand Portage does send a bus down, so they normally pick up between 5:45 and 6 o'clock, so, I mean, and then they stop and get something to
Yeah.
eat, and then go back up there, so it's still a.
But for games, you know, they get if they were up on the range pretty far out, they were in National Falls, and those kids get home here late, and then they still have another hour ride. I mean, not just Grand Portage, but obviously last night we were talking about Grand Portage, so.
And they still show up for school.
And they
the next
still
day.
show up for school the next day, so.
So I would like to suggest that all the reports you just gave about Grand Portage would be excellent things to report when you're talking about the diversity goal. That those really are contributing to that diversity goal, and those activities, you know, Megan being up there last night for that ceremony, special awards, I think they do really try to bridge that gap in the diversity.
Once, yeah, I'll make a note to get those.
Not as far reaching as the,
No.
security girls.
No, the shooting guns around just really didn't make it for me. I might have been there, but.
Yeah, so it was a great night overall, recognizing the seniors there, as well, or the seniors that are graduating. It's a very nice event.
Some really phenomenal students to recognize.
Yes.
I would also like to comment that the meeting at the LEIC in April was also could be in that diversity piece, but I thought it was a great meeting. I enjoyed that meeting very much.
Yeah, I agree, it was a very nice meeting with, everyone on the board. It was a good meeting.
Got some great feedback, some ideas.
Yes.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Next one. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
I just wanna do a quick reminder, we've got our next meeting in June is early, we're meeting early in June, and so that is, June 6th. Just wanna remind everybody, it's on our calendars, but, just wanna make sure everyone remembers that one.
Sure. Just early in the month, not
Early in the month.
Early in the month.
Yep, early in the month.
Okay.
It's normally the third
Same time.
Thursday, correct?
It's on the 3rd, but,
Good reminder.
yeah.
And a question about, the graduation ceremony.
It's on the 1st.
On the 1st, is there any sort of like board involvement for that aside from attending, or I'm just curious, we should be
We have the
planning.
board.
Yeah, the
to
board
be in
chair.
that
Board chair.
necessarily.
Yeah, the board chair sits
Okay.
up and shakes hands, but
Okay.
as board members, you can just attend and
Okay.
in the audience. So, yeah, we just have one board member that does the handshake.
Okay, I don't have
Yeah.
to dust off my mortarboard.
No.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Unless you
Well,
wanna wear it just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Exciting year for you though, cause your daughter will be, and her group of friends. that you didn't
Exactly,
know.
it was
Special for you.
last year I had my son and all his friends, and I had my daughter and my friends, so it will be very special for me. Yes.
The award ceremony is also on Monday.
Oh.
Monday at one.
What is that?
1?
Yeah, Monday is the awards and scholarship.
Hmm?
1:15.
Oh my goodness, it is, it's a wonderful.
Monday, the 20th,
Gotcha.
at 1:15. Yes. All right, if that is everything, then I need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, and a second. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. We are adjourned at 6:12. Thank you all for coming.